Hi guys, you're welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, thank you so much for joining. My name is Ebziba, and if you're a returning subscriber, thank you so much for coming back again. Yes, we are still on the November series where I get to bring my husband to the channel to discuss some important issues in marriage. And his name is Kayode, in case you are seeing him for the first time on my channel. And today we decided to talk about conflict resolution. So let's get right into it. Let me start by asking you a question.
Okay.
What do you think is the most common reasons why couples have issue? And I mean, sometimes or most of the time, they don't have those issues while they are dating or while they are in courtship. But after marriage, those things just start coming up and they start becoming issues. Why do you think that's the case?
Should I speak from the textbook or from my experience?
Your experience now, that's why you are here.
Okay, off the top of my head, the first thing is that they see things differently. Women and men see things differently. Now, when they're in a relationship, they don't care. Yeah, if you don't call me, I don't call you. We just let it go. But once they are committed, oh no. They take things that they would normally overlook more seriously than they do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so now let's talk about our own relationship.
All right.
Who do you think is the most...
Iwani.
You don't even know the question I want to ask.
I don't know. You are the most everything. Is there a most that you can say about me that's not? Oh yeah, let's see.
I was going to ask that. Who is the most patient person?
Oh, it's me.
See, you're
Matter
lying.
of fact.
Guys, he thinks that I'm the one who gets angry more often. But that's not the case. When you do some things that I don't like, you can't expect me to act like everything is fine when it is actually not fine.
It's almost like you take it like a career to be angry. You are angry about everything I do. You get quite angry a lot.
Okay, talking about conflicts in relationships or in marriages, I think the thing is, you must understand that this person is coming from a totally different background, has a completely different upbringing compared to yours. And let's say that you are getting married to a guy at the age of 28. He has been himself for the past 28 years. He has his own style of doing everything that he does. He has a style of thinking. So getting married to him, you probably would want to understand that difference, right?
Yeah, definitely.
And you also want to give room or give gap for improvement, right? So, but sometimes we get so engrossed with the relationship, with the marriage, and on most occasions, I think that we all come into marriages with an expectation of what we want our marriage to be like. We have our idea of who we want our man to be, like how we want our man to dress, what we want our man to do. Why are you smiling?
Yeah.
How we want him to think. You know, sometimes in our marriage, I was, wishing that I was the man in the relationship.
Oh, really?
Yes, because I figure that there's just some things I expect you to figure out, to know. And I think that's one of the mistakes people make. People just assume on the other person's behalf and expect that you should know this. For example, I appreciate surprises. While on the other hand, you are not the type that like to be surprised.
With
you
good
prefer to know that, okay, something is coming up for you. So those times when I try to surprise you and you don't appreciate me for the surprises, I feel very bad.
Yeah.
I feel very odd, and I blame myself for going over and above to put things together to make you happy. Whereas they are completely making you unhappy because you don't like surprises. Not because the things I do not because the content of the surprise is not good enough, but because you don't like the fact that it was a surprise.
Don't like to be surprised.
And that in return give me some discomfort that I will tell myself, I'm not doing this again. Like, I'm not surprising you again. I'm not even buying anything for you again because you don't appreciate them. So I think that because we have our idea of how we want the relationship to run, on most occasions, they are one of the things that cause issues in relationships, in marriages. And especially for the female, let me talk from the female perspective, babe.
Yeah, makes sense.
Before I got into courtship or relationship with you, I had so many fantasies of what I want from a man. I had my idea of what I want my man to do for me. So I just expect that, okay, now that I'm in a relationship with a man, you should be able to fulfill those fantasies and you should be able to make those dreams come true. But on the other hand, you had different idea,
concept of what you should need.
Of what I should need, and apparently those things that you think I should need are not the things that I actually want at that time.
Not that you don't want them at that time, but you want more.
Okay, maybe I want more. Okay, explain. Give us an example.
Oh, you want a good guy, I'm a good guy.
You're a good guy,
But
fine.
that's just not enough. You
It's-
want
it's
a
not
little
enough.
more.
Yes.
So here's how I'm going to put it. In addition to what you had said, what happens is that not only do we come into relationship with expectations,
Okay.
we also have a concept of how we expect the other person to act.
Yeah.
And when that's not the case, it's quite sketchy. Now, I think there's got to be that understanding.
Okay.
It's not just so much about I'm from one background, you are from another. Even if we are from the same background, we will see the same things differently.
That's
We'll react
true.
to it differently. There will be things you will do that will be like, how could you act like that? Even though we are from the same household, even though we are twins. It's just a function of differential of personalities. So I'm thinking that a way around it would have been for every individual into a relationship to understand. Just give yourself that gap of the things, of those disappointments. When I say disappointments, I mean things you will expect. Of course, you can't overstretch it. There are things that are correctly out of it. You don't expect us to have an argument and I slap you and I should tell you you are supposed to expect.
No.
So basically, when we say disappointments, we mean how you expect me to behave under certain circumstances. Of course,
Exactly.
again, I must admit, there are the other extremes of it. For instance, excesses. Yeah. For instance, you try to surprise me. I don't like surprises. The reality is, I can't change that I don't like surprises. I'm not going to like surprises. It's not going to be me. But I should learn to appreciate what you are doing. It takes me a while to sit down to realize, yeah, that's why she bought you the meal. And, tell the other person thank you because they're trying to make an effort. Blessed are those who have, for when they have not, they understand what they don't have. But the thing I'm trying to say is, your expectations have to be managed. Sometimes if you don't get what you imagined, give the person some time of, okay, I can understand the reason why you feel that way or you couldn't do that or you didn't react that way. Try to communicate. Okay, now
Yeah, you must always talk about every issues.
Yeah.
Like no matter how little it may seem, don't just let it slip over or don't let it slide under the
deadly.
no.
Assumptions are deadly. Back in the day when we were in a relationship and you were in Ibadan and I was in Port Harcourt and we were talking mostly on phones, there are times when you say things on phone that it will strike me in a certain way. Sometimes I'll say things, maybe respond to that thing you said, then it will reflect upon you differently. I get to go away with my assumptions, you get to go away with it. The problem would have persisted for a couple of days before we realize, so that's where you got what you are coming from. And even when we are together physically, I still tend to spot those things. You have reactions and I'm thinking this is it. Or you said something or you do something and I'm thinking this is it. Or I'm doing something and you think that is it. Except we explicitly say it. I think we must have had it, most of us in various places. As men, I'm talking as a man.
Okay.
We wish we don't have to read our women. Women wish they are read.
That's it.
We wish we don't have to read it. Now, as a man, let me explain the reason why we don't want to read women. Because you might read them wrong. There is no straight out laid rules that says when she smiles, she's happy, when she's sad, she's... There are times when a woman is like you are hungry and you are looking like you're angry. And I was still telling myself, why can you not have different reactions for different things? You have a reaction and we don't know what has caused it.
Jenny, say hi to the camera. Say hi.
Everybody meets Jaden.
Everybody meets Jaden. This is our son. Today, he does not want us to film. He's been shouting and crying.
This is the fruit of our labor.
It was not a labor now. The fruit of our pleasure.
Like I was saying, basically, there are your ways of reacting, and men don't want to read women precisely for that, because I think I might get it wrong. And the reality is, we are not just saying off the top of the head. Many times we get it wrong.
Yeah.
Of course, over the years, now I have learned to know what upsets you when you are upset and how I have to think back. It's a lot of work for us men. We don't want to. I think women should learn to express how they feel. The concept of reading you will not be it won't be out of it completely. In fact, it will still be critical, because that is what marks the point that I know you. If every guy on the street could read you, then it's not like this. So, and you should be the one who should be able to know, I know my baby is this, I know my baby is that. So it's not completely over the table, but there should be an extent to it. If there are things that touch you and you see the guy is not getting it, sometimes, I remember there was a time when after we had gotten married, you were upset about something and I had no clue. I remember I thought it was cold you had. And that was when now she was crying all that morning, and I'm like, I had no idea.
Like, how can you not know? You saw my eyes; they were red now.
Yeah, when you have cold,
they were
your eyes
swollen.
red. Yeah, they can be
And you
swollen if
cannot
you
even
didn't sleep
ask
well.
what's wrong. I didn't sleep well.
Yeah, I felt you weren't feeling fine. So
I don't think that is it.
It
Me, I
added
feel
up.
that an average man is not sensitive. Women, if you agree with me, please leave a comment down below.
yeah, they will all agree with you. They are women. They
An
will say,
average man is not sensitive. You're supposed to know.
okay, that is clear now. Now that all the women know that an average man is not sensitive, please let
It's
us
not
know.
an excuse. I'm not giving an excuse for the men.
We're not saying it's an excuse.
I'm telling you that you guys should be more sensitive.
We are going to be more sensitive. While we are being sensitive, let us know what's going on.
Okay.
So, but basically, there has to be that balance. A man can't afford to live his life without being conscious of what the woman is going through. Like, so when you are not happy, I should be able to detect.
Exactly.
Even if I don't know why
I'm not happy.
But in case I don't figure it out, don't vex. Because there are sometimes I've just got things I'm dealing with.
Okay.
There are sometimes my eyes is just some other things. Everybody is not, like I always tell you, it's not every time one is able to get along with everything. But you can't afford to be 70% of the time be below your game. You must be on top of the game most of the time, basically. So if one understands the concept that this is a different person, particularly a different gender, is going to see, apart from the background, the gender is going to see things differently from the... It will take a while before you guys start seeing things the same way.
What is it?
Even there are times when I will know that this is what my wife will say about it, or this is how she's going to see this. You understand?
Yeah.
Let her enjoy it. Let him enjoy himself. So there are times when it will be time when you start recognizing, okay, this is how this person will see it. But there will still be some things that will be a bit overboard. So I personally feel if you understand why something is happening, it helps you resolve the conflict much better. If you are upset and I don't know why you are upset, it's more troubling.
Yes.
Than when I know why you are upset.
Yes.
Now, when I know why you are upset, it's a different reason to agree with why you are upset.
Mm-hmm.
But at least if I know why, okay, because I moved the slippers, okay, it's understandable. No, she doesn't do that. No, my wife doesn't do that. So I'm just giving an example.
Yeah.
So then, if you had known that, okay, this person I'm in a relationship with or I'm married to, chances are at some point I'm going to make her uncomfortable, or she's going to make me uncomfortable. Mm-hmm. When the discomfort comes, you already know about it.
Yeah.
Do you get? So
I think babe, that you have a point there. I think that in marriage, don't go in with the mind of perfection, because the truth is you are an imperfect person. The other person is imperfect, so there will always be sometimes, and there will always be that time when there will be issues, right? And you should know that it is because of the imperfection in the person's personality. So you must always give the allowance. You must always give the privilege, like the benefit of a doubt, and always, be prepared for a second chance in your relationship. Be prepared to give the person a second chance in the relationship.
No, more than second chance will be
plenty chances.
So these things, it's a two-way thing. You can't keep giving me chances and I keep screwing it. They are giving chances, you
must be making effort to get better.
Exactly. So that's the way around.
Then generally, now let's talk so that this conversation we have a structure. Generally, what do you think couples can do to minimize conflict in their relationship? I was speaking with one of my friends the other day, and they are newly married, and she was telling me a lot of things that she's tired, and I'm like, baby, you cannot be tired now. You just got married. You've not even started. You've not even started. Like, okay, she's like explaining some of the things that she was finding out about her husband, and I'm like, these things you are saying about your husband is just the thing an average man will do. Mm-hmm. So you cannot expect. It's not special.
It's not breaking like new ground.
So it's a thing that an average man would do, and if you ask your husband too, there are some things that you are doing that he does not like. But the thing about men is they will not talk about it. An average man will not talk except the issue has become unbearable.
Yeah,
that is when they will talk. Mm-hmm. But normally they will just keep quiet and just overlook, like it's something they can manage. That's it. But a woman, we will not talk, but we will be showing reactions.
Yeah.
And we want the man to figure out.
Very painful.
So you must learn to communicate when you are displeased or you are not happy with something. And you must learn to always understand that a man is made differently for a woman. Your reasoning is different. Your thinking is different. Let me give you an example. There are times that I'll tell my husband, this, and that don't do it. But we'll go ahead and do it. And when it comes back, as in when it backfires, it will come to tell me. In my mind, if you ask me, I honestly and sincerely want to tell him that I told you not to do it. But you cannot tell him at that time, at that moment, I learned that lesson. That you cannot tell your mother, I have told you not to do this. Now that it has backfired, you are coming back to me. You still, like, it's still telling you so that you can find comfort in you, at least. So you have to keep quiet. Then later, sometimes later, while you're having a discussion, you cannot tell him that, oh, that thing I told you not to do, don't do it. And that is not to tell you that he will not still repeat the same thing.
I can explain.
It's annoying for women. Like, I ate that thing. I ate it with passion. But he will still come back to tell you, that is where you are the wife now. That is where you are his support system.
You know, the interesting thing is, that anthem, I had my mom sing it for a long time about my dad. Babani, that's what it was. I had you saying that about your mom and your dad. And I thought I'm going to be better, you know. I'm like, okay, forget about it. I'm going to get over it. Then I'm hearing this anthem. And it's not untrue. The fact is that it really happens like that.
And why? Why do you think that you men, you don't listen to your wife? It's not like the wife is always right. But 80% of the time, the wife is right.
Let me explain it to you. So before you showed up, there was a way we made decisions. And some of those were right and some were wrong.
Well, most were wrong.
No, if they were wrong, you won't marry us. We won't be here.
You can't say most. Don't even let us go into that discussion. How sometimes men can be very, very subtle in their ways. And they will not reveal that side that you're supposed to see before you get married to them. You marry them, finish.
No, it's not that we are hiding it. You
are trying to impress the woman so that she will not see that part.
Let me explain.
Before she sees
Let me explain. You see, when you marry a man, it's like you just open a bottle of wine. You start drinking it from the top. When you get to the middle of the drink, the taste might be different, but it's still the same bottle. When you get to the bottom, you know, as the wine is growing older, it's maturing, you know, that sort of a thing. So it's not
but
that
you're supposed to be getting better now.
It will be better. It's just a different flavor.
A different flavor.
Different from what you might expect, basically. But so I think that why men struggle, and I can now say that with listening to women, is your decision process is different from ours.
Because we walk through the process, but men, they are all about the outcome. In their head, they have calculated, they have figured it out that, okay, by the time I do this, I do that, I make these steps, this will be the outcome. But women, we are blessed by God that you're able to think about the positive aspects, the negative aspects. You're able to strategically weigh the negative effects and the positive effects. So there's a way you are able to calculate and you know that something might go wrong at this point. And if you're not able to prevent it, it might just scatter the whole thing. But men, they are about the outcome.
No, we do that.
Let me give you an example.
All right.
That's the reason why you will go to a place, buy something, and sometimes you may not just test run it. You just bring it to the house. But women will test run every single thing they buy. If they buy clothes, they will try it out to know whether it's their size. But an average man will go to the market, buy clothes, will not try it. Come back to the house, the clothes is either bigger or it's smaller and they cannot adjust it. They can't wear it. That money has gone to waste.
I can explain.
There's no explanation. It's just the way a man is built up.
Can I speak?
Okay.
So it's not, you are sounding like it's a rule of thumb that this is what we do all the time. If a
man goes, what you do most of the time.
If a man goes to buy a car, at least he will test it down to the house. So you sounded like every time we don't test.
That is because the car is to be driven. If the car is not to be driven, you bring it to the house that way now.
No, what I'm trying to say is.
Let me give you an example. The day you went to buy a coolant, did you check whether the coolant has been diluted? No, you just brought it to the house. And when you wanted to put it in the car, that was when you noticed that the coolant has been diluted. If I was the one, I would check. In fact, at that point, I'll put it in my car to see whether it is authentic.
That was a one-off. Has it happened
again
after that time?
No, that one is coolant. There are so many other instances that I can
name
start.
One more. Just one more.
Babe, this video will be too long.
So
let me not be exposing your secrets in the public.
There's no secret
public
there.
Place.
It is all done under the sun. There's no secret here. But so basically, my point is, it's sometimes just, see, the reality is, there are things I tell you to do, I will tell you to do, you just wouldn't do too. It's just because you feel there's a way it should work. And you have not substantiated the other person's methods.
But the thing is, most of the time, my formula is always the correct one. Most of the time. I don't say all the time, most of the time.
Really?
No, have you not thought about it? Have you not evaluated it ever?
I've not done the statistics.
You should.
I'm not going to do this.
You should.
I won't. So
because you know I'm right.
Not that you're right. So what I'm talking about your own decisions around you, not your own decisions with respect to me.
Okay.
You understand? So again, there has to be some sort of balance. And for me, what I've said is, if you have given me a suggestion, let me know why you have given the suggestion. I want to quiz it. I want to know.
There's something called the women instinct. In case
we should just go with it. I'm a man. You want me to go with women
See, my
instinct?
husband, I will suggest some things to my husband. He wants me to give logical reasons why I am saying that. See, sometimes
Generally,
the women instinct, we just tell you this is what.
So as a man, I struggle to just fall into the woman. You know, I'm not a woman. So what I tell her is this. I say, if somehow it doesn't work out well, I want to be able to tell myself, I made this decision to go with what you have said, and I'll be able to live with it. But if I just went with it just because you said it, and I just never really supported it, if it didn't go out, I'll say showtime. You know, that sort of thing. And I don't want to be in a position where I will tell you showtime, that sort of a thing. So I understand that women are usually right. As in, yeah, women are generally right.
Thank you for saying that.
No. But it's not as if under every circumstances. There are things that you do that I feel you should have figured this out now. As in, it's
that's
like
the
that.
human. That's when you know that I am human too.
No, that's when we know you are a woman. Well,
I can
basically,
make mistakes.
so I think generally, and I'll say this, generally, men should find a way, if there can be a magical formula to discover how and when to trust their woman. It will be very great.
I think it comes with time. As you guys grow together.
Let me give you an instance. You remember you said I should put money in Bitcoin some times ago. I'm not talking about the previous time. This very last time, Bitcoin was about 7,000, 8,000. Bitcoin is 19K today. I didn't. Well, you don't check the charts as much as I do.
And that's the thing. I don't even know. See,
I should just.
No, babe.
Okay.
Let me tell them. I don't even know all these things. I don't know about cryptocurrency. I don't know so much about all these things because I don't believe in it.
Okay, so where should I put money now?
But they are just. Jaden.
Let's go get.
Jenny didn't say again.
Oh yeah, Jaden, say hi.
So I don't know anything about cryptocurrency. I don't know this Bitcoin trading. I don't know jack about it. But when he's telling me about it, and I don't believe in it though. That's the truth. But when he's telling me about it, oh this, that, and all those things, that day something was just telling me in my spirit that tell your husband to put money in this Bitcoin. He's looking like this thing will rise. So I told him. Me, I don't have strength. I told him once. I told him twice. I didn't bother telling him again. Now he's telling me Bitcoin advice.
Wait.
Like,
audience, can you judge me? You can hear someone said she doesn't even believe in it. Then suddenly she doesn't even like the concept of crypto. It sounds very abstract. Let me finish.
Hey now.
And then I'm supposed to just... Wait. It's not Owo Gigi. It is not Owo Gigi.